So I wanted to start with a couple of simple questions just to get us going, and please mind those cords there. I don't want anyone to trip or anything like that. But and then open it up to you guys. So if you have questions or things you're curious about, please let it simmer and think about it. But Kenji, this is a journey with the family. Can you take us back to the beginning when you met Ashima? Like how do we get on this screen here from I don't know how many years ago?
Well, I worked for a climber named Jimmy Chin back in the day, and his business partner Tim had recommended I look into Ashima. He was like, "Are you interested in telling more Japanese American stories?" And I was like, "Oh, maybe." And so I looked up Ashima's family like in the online New York phone book, like whitepages.com. And then I just cold called, and they invited me out to spend Ashima's Thanksgiving break with the family. And Ashima and I clicked, like we got along, and then the family invited me to stay longer. Yeah, they invited me to stay longer and decided to shoot a feature film together. Yeah.
Now that this film exists in the world, Ashima, like, what does it mean to see this on the screen in front of all these people and for all these years?
So it's very surreal because, this was all 9 years ago. And like when I watch it now, it's almost like watching a documentary about a different person. And I'm mostly just really happy with how it portrays my parents. And, it's just a very sweet memory of our relationship. And I mean, it has a lot more depth than just climbing, which has been like the main focus of most films that have been made about me and my climbing career. So yeah, I'm very grateful that Kenji so beautifully captured our family dynamics.
Kenji, did they have to teach you at all about any of this climbing stuff? I said you worked for a climber, but just in terms of shooting and this process and spending all this time with them on mountains and things like that. And
Yeah, I don't climb at all. Luckily, Ashima mostly was bouldering, so I could stay on the ground. But yeah, I spent a lot of time, years with climbers, but I don't climb. Yeah.
this is a film that's not about climbing. It's really about a familial relationship. Did you realize that, Kenji, at the beginning when you were making this? And Ashima, this is a question you can answer now. Seeing your relationship on screen here, is there any advice or wisdom that you're getting from your dad then that now you're like, oh, it's pretty wise, or pretty smart?
I mean, yeah, so much of who I am today is shaped by my parents, obviously, and especially my dad with his mentorship. And oftentimes I think of our relationship as like me being the pupil and my dad being this like monk figure that I look up to, and he guided me through a lot, and I definitely, carry that on today.
I wanted to offer Poppo a chance to say something. You can translate it, it's fine, but I would love to hear from him.
今日フィルム見て10年ぐらい前のことからのことですね、このフィルムは。それでいろいろ懐かしい思いと、アシマとよく大体トリップに行ったりクライミングジムに行くのは僕がついてスポットしたりとかいろいろヘルプするんですけど、結構きついことも言うてんだなとかね思いましたよね。でもそれはそこまで。
So I saw this film today, and it's been over 10 years, and just a lot of good memories came back. But also I realized, I was very strict sometimes. I'm sorry, I forgot a few things.
それで僕はただアシマがクライミングを始めて、この子はクライミングをやるんだなと思った時からどんなヘルプでも積 世界を回ってでもいろんなところについていって世話しようと思って、難しい今日やった14のゴールデンシャドウなんかはもう何日も何日も辛い思いをしてもう足場が逃げ出しそうになってもうやめたいとかいざそうな時もあったんですけど、僕はなんとか辛い時があれがいい時もあるんだよ、いい時は辛いことが重なった結果がいいことになるんだと思って結構厳しい言葉をかけたりもしたりですけど、最後にできた時はどんな難しい課題でも結構いろんな難しい課題があってますけど、できた時は2人とも本人も嬉しいだろうし僕もすごいAshimaと同じぐらい嬉しいです。
So when Ashima started to climb, I knew that I will be helping her, and when she faced a hard time, my job was to support her and also help her in many different ways. And when she tried V14 Golden Shadow, I don't know any climbing. So the 14 Shadow that I know Ashima wanted to give up, but my job is to continue to support her, but encourage her. And when she reached and be able to achieve that goal, we both are very happy, and that's something that I was able to give, like that support for Ashima.
Very well said. Yes, yes. Please.
So when she was started, when you started to play at the playground and playground, and I thought about she really likes monkey bar. Then I thought about if you like monkey bar forever, but nothing happened after that. You cannot make money. You cannot live for the monkey bar. I thought. So then that will be climbing. So it's okay to climbing. But when it was so, I'm so afraid she climbed about 10 meter or 20 meter. I was so afraid she might be fail and will be die. So that I really don't wanna, but she really wanna do it. So no way for me. But she wanna be climbed. So this is her life. So do it. That's it.
We've got time for a couple of questions. If anyone would like to ask them, there's a hand here. Yes, right in the front. Yes, you.
And I was wondering what you thought about maybe the downgrade, and then also whether you're looking towards B16 as well.
Yeah, I guess it is like a big debate in the climbing world, and I've got to say I feel like in recent years I'm less connected, or I feel like I'm trying to expand beyond climbing, and I'm not quite as like, I don't know, I feel like that's not the first thing that's like in my mind at all times. But in terms of the downgrade, I mean, I think a lot of climbing is, I mean, at least the grades are very subjective, and I do think that like the future of grading should be just on consensus, but also on like personal experiences. And for an example, obviously there's going to be differences in someone who's really short and fits a certain box, and if there's a really spanny climb, that's not going to be the same grade as, for someone who's way bigger and they have an easier time on a Uchi climb. And it's vice versa with box therapy, for an example. So I think it's okay to have personal grades and to actually be proud of that. Sometimes it's upgrading, sometimes it's downgrading. It goes both ways, and I think that is the future of grading, is to have a personal take on a grade of a certain climb and honor that. Yeah. And I guess in terms of future projects, I think, so this movie, all of the filming was done 9 years ago, and throughout those years, as I've gained more autonomy and explored different paths, I think I've gone through different phases within my climbing life, and my relationship with climbing has evolved a lot. But moving forward, I do think that climbing still holds a very important place in my heart, and I do treasure it because of largely the community and the people that I get to be friends with, and also I intrinsically enjoy it. So there's those elements. And I'm focusing more on certain climbs that inspire me and trying to depart from just thinking about grades. So I don't know if B16 is quite the goal that I'm going for, but there are plenty of climbs that are inspiring and are in that range.
Well said. Yes, here.
I know it was a while ago, but after you were done with your climb, did your dad end up buying you a delicious dinner?
Honestly, I don't think it was that memorable, so I don't think so. Usually we celebrate with ice cream. Yeah.
忘れましたね。
Couldn't remember.
まだ他にも次の日も他のあれができたから次のやつも決めてたので、そっちの方に行ったからね。一日終わったらもう次の課題をやりに来ました。
The next day, they already had a scheduled goal and had to do something, so he never took her for a delicious dinner.
Very funny. Yeah. One more, I guess, way in the back there. Yes.
I have a question for Kenji. The whole cinematography is beautiful. I just want to know what's your approach to it, because at some points I feel like so immersed. It doesn't feel like a documentary. It sounds like it feels like a movie about a father and daughter relationship. So I want to know about your approach.
Yeah, I had, when I was writing pitches for this film, I had very specific style in mind of different Japanese directors that I wanted to copy and mimic. And then when you actually get there filming, standing in the rain and you're freezing, then Ashima and Poppo are just running up the mountain and you're trying to keep up. All of that just goes out the window. I just need to capture what I can. So I did the best that I could. Luckily, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage. So what you see is what works within the story. There's some other stuff that's more cinematic, beautiful, but it doesn't quite fit. But ultimately, it was I was just trying to keep up because my pack, the trip to South Africa, I think my pack was 140 pounds. It is a lot. And they had crash pads on, which was the weight of a few of my batteries. So, I just prepared and then just went for it. Yeah.
One more, yes, here in the white.
Hi. First I want to say congrats on this film to Ashima, her family, and Kenji and the crew as well. I'm a climber and aspiring filmmaker, so it's really inspiring. Kenji, I'm just curious, what was the editing process like? Did you have the family trust you and do it yourself, or were you collaborating with them the whole time as to what was going to be seen?
So yeah, since I last filmed, and it had been a while, and the family was kind of kept in the dark in terms of the editing. I went through a lot of editors, 4.5. At first, I had Boston, my friend, that came on board, and he just put in hours. He was working full time at Google, and at home he would come and put in hours. And then we had Kelly, and we had Sam, and we had my friend Dave come on board. Just everyone pitched in. Victoria, like all these editors, all super talented, have great careers in editing. That kind of all pitched in. It was a family affair in that way. And it was just, yeah, I was burnt out from watching the footage. Like, I'd seen all hundreds of hours of footage. I watched it through like 3-4 times, cut out selects, and then the editors did the heavy lifting. And I'm so grateful for them because, I mean, that's why kind of it took so long, because we didn't really have money. And then I relied on editors and favors, and their talents kind of carried the film through.
Well, I mean, it's an amazing job. Their talents did carry the film through, and the film is awesome. I did want to give the last word to you all, the family, and if there's anything you want to say about the film, about... or Ashima, or if whoever would like to speak. Yes, please.
Hi guys, thanks for being here. I'm Minji, I'm the producer. I think Kenji does a very frequent job of underplaying all of his effort, and also wanted to shout out to the crew because this was a gargantuan feat of love and care and complete and utter determination to get us in this room with all of you guys. So I think Kenji was very generous because there's so many different ways creatives can want ownership of like what ends up there, and he had a tremendous amount of trust, inviting perspectives and notes, and even me as a producer, and Gene, where's Gene? Our executive producer, Gene, a legend in the doc world. And so we were just blessed with so much generosity from the creative, and I'm from the narrative worlds, and so having the documentary community be so generous and so kind and so helpful, but also Kenji's like willingness to keep going to bat, because it gets really, really frustrating, and you just don't feel like you have this story, but he wanted to do right by this family. That was his first and foremost like priority. So I'm just really proud of it. I'm getting emotional because I got to bear witness for the last 5 years of it, and it was an insane journey, and it's really beautiful what we made. So congrats, good job.
I guess I'll say a few words. Yeah, I'm so grateful for all the creatives behind shaping this film, and like I said earlier, like it feels like I'm watching some like foreign thing now because it's been so long, but yeah, I'm just so grateful for all of the effort that was put into this really beautiful film to really kind of like honor our whole family. And I'm also just grateful that there is a piece that highlights the many dimensions of myself and my family. I feel like my parents are kind of like these elusive characters that many people question, and I think this really just like shifts the focus to them as well, and I'm so happy about that because I've always been really just one of my goals growing up has obviously been to kind of make them proud, and like many kids looking at their parents as these like godly figures, it's still something that is a part of me and I think the way that this film features them and features us as a whole is very special and beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for just sharing your story with us at Documentary. It's a pleasure. The film is available to vote for the Audience Award, so please vote for the film. Kenji, you're good? You're content? Nothing?
Yeah. Oh, and let's give it up for Ashima's parents and
Yes.
Miko, because a lot of the films and stuff that have been done about Ashima before, Ashima's mom is kind of like absent from it. It's just always Ashima and Poppo. Ashima's mom has worked really hard to support the family, support her in the early days when there were no sponsorships. financially provide for Ashima's trips, for climbing shoes, all those things, and she's like the unsung hero, Ashima.
Okay, Kenji doesn't want to plug the social media. Please follow us at Ashima the Movie. Follow along the journey. This is our world premiere. You guys are part of such a special moment for us, so thank you so much for being here. And yeah, please follow the Instagram. Continue to support us. We hope for many more festivals, more screenings, and share the story with the world. And also vote for us if you enjoy the film for audience favorite. Thank you.